What's up YouTube, this is Fate, bringing you another Death Battle wishlist video. I figured that it's been an insanely long time since I've done one of these for fun, and especially since Death Battle Season 3 is just around the corner with a really awesome matchup to boot. I figured it was ample time to finally pick another 4 matchups that I would really love to see happen in the future, and just throw them on this video. And speaking of getting at least one of them right, any of you that saw my July wishlist video and saw Mega Man vs. Astro Boy, I'd like to say, called it. If you don't believe me, watch that recorded video. I had that pegged all the way back in July, a good few months before the battle had even debuted or even had the notion that it was going to be viewed. But enough about that, it's time to get to this wish list. Now before I go any further, I'd like to make the notion that all the pictures used in this presentation are not owned by me. The use of these pictures are only being used for this non-profit fan video and belong to all of their respective owners. Please support the official uses from the owners, because without them, I would not be able to use awesome pictures like these for these awesome wish lists. And with that, let's get into our first matchup. And for my first predicted matchup, I would like to see Yusei from Soul Calibur versus Mugen from Samurai Champloo. Now the theme for this matchup is pick 2 of the most unorthodox swordsmen from their respective universes and pin them against each other. This originally got inspired for me to find a matchup for Mugen ever since the anime started playing on Toonami again recently. It figured a character like him deserves a matchup right away. Doesn't even need to go on the characters that deserve a Death Battle wish list. And I figured, who would be the best matchup? So I looked into some of the sword fighting games, and sure enough, Yusei is the other guy that fits the bill. One guy on the quest for power versus a guy that has an appetite for fighting people stronger than him and bettering himself in the process. Who would win against these two? I'm not sure, but it would be one fantastic death battle. And now on to the second matchup. I have Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII versus Captain Aizen from Bleach. And I would have to say, my theme with this one is, I want to say, swordsmen and masterminds. And what better than these 2 manipulative a-holes from their respective universes? Pretty much making all of the main characters play into their hands time and time again, being so far overpowered, on top of being just the masterminds that they are, bending the wills around them. These 2 would be a fantastic matchup against each other, and both of these characters' final forms, I would like to see something done with these 2 in a matchup like that. This is one of those matchups, I don't care how much more powerful one is over the other. It would just be one fantastic battle. Now for the third matchup, had to have seen this coming at some point. I do run primarily a Yu-Gi-Oh channel for a reason, so why not against 2 of the main characters from their respective seasons in Yugi versus Yusei. But in this time, not in just a traditional card game duel, oh no. We're going to have these guys summon their monsters against each other and try to blow them out of the water in death battle fashion. I mean, just torched landscapes, destroying everything around them. Can we say card games in death battles? Anybody? Anybody? I don't know, that sounds funny to me. But anyways, yep, had to have seen this coming at some point. Now, before we get into our main matchup, I would like to go back to my most requested one from the prior video. And that would be Jenny the Bat from Bloody Roar versus Morgan from Darkstalkers. And again, the inspiration for this battle is they're kind of chick batlings that are insanely powerful in their own universes, both excellent fighters, and you gotta figure somebody like Boomstick in the series would have a lot of fun trying to get information on both these characters. I mean, just look at them. I can see this being a very entertaining death battle for that reason alone. And before we go on to our main matchup, I'd like to also list a bunch of characters that deserve a future death battle, even though I couldn't come up with a really good matchup for them. For the top 6, I had these characters in the last video. And that's Gordon Freeman from Half-Life, mainly just for his versatility and survivalist instincts. Kirito from Sword Art Online because that's just pretty much fan popularity at this point. I don't care if he gets a death battle or not. Most likely will, but that's whatever. Taki from Soul Calibur, and the main reason with her is she's just one of the most iconic characters from the Soul Calibur universe outside of Siegfried and Nightmare. And they already did Nightmare, so why not have Taki take the reins on this one? Toshiro Hitsugai from Bleach, Ice Dragons, anybody? I could see that being very entertaining, especially with Toshiro being the fan favorite in that series. Wesker for Resident Evil, just because it's Wesker. What more do you need? And I also still have Noriko from Heavenly Sword because that is one very overlooked protagonist from the PlayStation 3 era in the Heavenly Sword game. I mean, even just watch a playthrough of that game. Noriko is really powerful, really skilled. She deserves to fight somebody in the death battle fashion. And one person that I ended up kicking off this list is Raiden because, well, he just got a death battle, and I just have to say, how many times does Wolverine have to die to these swordsmen in the past few years? I mean, it's just, I don't know, I don't want to talk about it. I'm still kind of grieving over that one. But anyways, let's take a look at the 4 newcomers that I would like to see a death battle of. One of them is Saitama from One Punch Man, and again, this is just a fan favorite. Just to see who they come up with to go up against this guy. I mean, even in anime logic, Goku would get one shot by this guy at max power. I don't even have a clue who would even stand up to a single hit from this guy. So, anybody that could figure that one out, I would love to see what you guys would come up with in the comments below. The next one is Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, just because of the little bit of the resurgence of the series, and Shredder with magnetic claws, him obviously becoming a lot more skilled from the cartoon show days. I can see him being a pretty well-versed foe in any of his death battle encounters, of course determining if we can find a matchup for him. Jean Grey from X-Men, overpowered Phoenix, would love to see that one. And the last one on the list, another one out of left field, but Esdeath from Akame ga Kill, just a really nasty ice manipulator, and wait, ice manipulator, let's see, Esdeath, Toshiro, Battle of Ice Manipulators, characters that deserve a... I think we might have something right here. Toshiro versus Esdeath. I'm just going to throw that out there, right there, just on the fly, unedited. Let's get on to the main matchup, let that sink in. But the main matchup I want to see that I think would be very entertaining is Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop versus Malcolm from Firefly. And the basic inspiration for this one is a character as iconic as Spike. I wanted to find this guy a death battle badly, just so we could see him duke it out in his just rule of cool fashion against anybody in the death battle universe. But I had to choose somebody that he would either not just outsmart and outgun at any given time, and no superpowers against him. Even though he's gone up against those supernatural foes in his own anime, I don't think it would be fair against him, especially with the world that he lives in. So I figured, awesome main character, ragtag group of people in space. The only other genre that fits in this, in my mind, is Malcolm and the Firefly group. I could just see this happen. These two gunslingers, both of them are very good at improvising, getting themselves out of situations. Each of the people in their respective groups can provide a lot to this battle if they decide to do a team battle with this. But even just to have these two duke it out right here, I think it would make for one fantastic battle. And of course, don't forget to support Screw Tech on their channel for all of the other great Death Battle videos, because keep up the work, guys. I mean, give us more. These are awesome. Please, give us more. Well, anyways, thanks for watching this Death Battle Wish List video, and as always, comment, rate, and subscribe. And until next time.